Time is now 7 o'clock. You're on CarTorque with Matty J. I'm in the studio with James, who was just in here, and Luka will be coming in shortly. So CarTorque is a show for the motoring enthusiasts of our community. So James, we just had a bit of a chat about the election, as it's kind of on everyone's lips. But you know, what does this mean for us as car enthusiasts? Well, because I was reading about all the tariffs and stuff that America wants to keep American cars. So it could be beneficial. We don't know yet.
I doubt it.
We will see what's going to happen with that. It's interesting times, to say the least. But well, time to talk about a few different topics. I was going to say I went to a dealership a couple of weeks ago, but it's called Dutton Garage. Now, I'm not giving you a plug here or anything, but is
that the one with all the exotic cars?
It's the one with all the exotic cars. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. The cars and the stuff they have there is just insane. They've got like classics, even to your modern day performance, Ferraris and that. So, really interesting place, and the people were just so inviting and friendly to come into. Like they had fathers.
You can get right up close to the cars too.
Next to them, take photos. Like there was tons of kids in there just taking photos of these supercars. It's because these are amazing for them. Like then they look crazy. So it was good to see that fathers and mothers as well bringing their kids out. They weren't going to buy the cars or anything, obviously, but they were there letting their kids look around and like just be in awe of these incredible machines. Now I'm not a massive exotic fan. Like I love my cars. I prefer my homegrown, blue collar stuff. But having said that, when you see some of these cars, you just stand back and you're in awe. They're just gorgeous. Spielberg face, yeah. Or the face from Zoolander. What's it called?
Blue Steel.
Is it Blue Steel?
Or is that
I forgot what it's called.
What's the other one? Is it Magnum?
It's Magnum, yeah, it's Magnum. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So
they're both the same.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Arguing about something that's the same.
So that's So I had the Magnum and the Magnum face, which was the same thing. But yeah, so it was really cool just to go there and just to suss it out. Because like I usually go to car meets and car shows where there's nothing like that, and they had Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Astons, high-end Mercs and stuff, and it was great. And like just as I said, when you go there, the people are so inviting, and like I walked up, I had my lady with me, and I got there and I was just like. I walked up to the door. The guy's like, "Oh hi, this is Dutton Garage." I'm just like, "Oh, am I allowed to come and have a look?" He's like, "Yeah, by all means." I thought, surely this is some sort of joke. He's like, "Yeah, come in." And there's like a cafe. Yeah. So if you're just walking in the street, you can have a coffee.
It's almost like a museum where you can buy the cars if you have the money.
If you got many millions of dollars, but when you walk in there, it's just cars everywhere. But it's not just cars. Yeah, they've got like automotive art. And it's all stacked on the walls, and it's really cool. And like the diner's like shaped in like a 50s style diner, which is really cool, but obviously really modern with modern food. They've got a whole bunch of just random memorabilia. They had an old air cooled Porsche room, which is really really cool. Because I'm a big fan of old school Porsches. I think they're one of they're especially anything with an air cooled engine these days is really really starting to appreciate. But it was a few cars in particular that really caught my eye. And it's not until you actually get near them that you realize how much of a presence these cars have. Like, you see these cars on the TV or on the computer, you're just like, oh yeah, whatever. But when you actually get close to some of the cars I'm about to explain in a minute,
it has its own energy.
It does. It's an aura, and you stand there and you're just in awe of the car. You just wow, that's what that is. So I was walking around, and the first car that actually struck me was like out of all the cars in there was a Ford Mustang, but this just wasn't any Ford Mustang. It's a Boss 429, which is like the holy grail of Mustangs. It's a $300,000 Mustang, and the story goes with the Boss 429 is that Ford in the time of the engine size wars, the muscle car era, they put the biggest engine they could have put in that car, but obviously it didn't fit. So they actually outsourced the car to get the strut tail was cut down so the engine would fit in there. just to have it. It was an insane amount of engine. Just if you actually look at this engine, it's just like how the hell did I fit it in there? But from the pictures I've seen, it just looked like a standard Mustang. But when you actually get up next to it, you
realise the size and the shape and the
it is a big car, and it's just commanding. Like it's the little things like the little black inserts and stuff like that. You don't pick up on a screen, you know. So Gas Monkey Garage, they found one and they flipped it, and it was a black one. So I didn't really get to see all the other little intricate details. Whereas when I saw this one in person, God, it was stunning. You know, I stood back and Navini's like to me, she's like, it's just a Mustang. I'm like, it's not just a Mustang.
Just the Mustang.
It's this is the holy grail of Mustangs. So, but even for her, like she's not into cars at all. She was blown away, and just to go to a place like that, she's like when we're leaving, she's like, this place, you know, you could go here and you could she's like, I'm not even into cars. I could spend all day here just looking at the cars. So it says a lot about the place and about the people that work there as well. They were so accommodating and you know, always just willing to have a chat. And, you know, obviously I don't have, you know, I think the cheapest car there was like 180,000. So obviously I don't have that, but, you know, like they had like Rolls's and everything there, but that Mustang was one of the ones that caught my eye. But then the last car that I saw as well, I didn't even notice it there because this car is so low that I just walked straight past it. And I didn't even realize. Considering next time it was like in front of the Mustang, and the Mustang's like a big fat oaf. This thing was just. I just turned around. I'm just like, oh my God, that's an F40, a Ferrari F40.
What color was it? Black?
No, it was red.
It still didn't stand out.
It didn't because this Mustang was, and it was like there was an E-Type in front of it as well. and I turned around. It was like I was about to walk out, and I didn't even notice it, James. I'm like, this is like one of my dream cars. This is like the ultimate supercar, the Ferrari F40. I'm walking out because I was looking at they had the new Aston Martin Vanquish there, and I was, you know, obviously blown away by that because I'm a big Aston fan. Then I turn around, I'm like, oh, it can't be. And I kid you, I just stood there with like my jaw down for like about 20 seconds. I'm just like, that is a Ferrari F40. Oh my God. Like that is just, wow. So, for people in the know, the F40 it's an 80s supercar. It's the last car Enzo Ferrari kind of, oversaw and, you know, signed off on. And it kept its name as like the best supercar of all time. Still today, it's remarkably quick. It's an analog car. It's got nothing in it. It's designed so that like basically how bare this car is. You can actually see like the glue marks from the carbon fiber and everything. It's all there. It's just bare. It's bare back to bones. Just it was built for a purpose, for speed, and that's what it's designed for. And I've never seen one in person. This was the first time, and I had New Zealand plates on it as well. So the cars could be on consignment from New Zealand, or it could be getting sold here. But just to see the engine from the back of the window, and to see the intercooler piping and the turbo piping and everything, it blew me away. It's one of those cars that, you know, I'm not a massive Ferrari fan. I never have been, but I know what an F40 is, and I didn't have the respect until I saw it in person because it absolutely blew me away. That car had the biggest presence out of all the cars in the room, obviously. And it's just like just standing next to it, like I actually felt, you know, I felt like, oh, wow,
yeah.
You know, it's almost as if the car can speak to you. And I know I'm sounding pretty dumb and weird, so probably most of the listeners have changed station right now. But when you see a car like that, and you know its history, and you know what it's capable of, and you just see it looking at you, and you know, and you're looking at it, it's just like a kind of like a connection, and it's. You don't get that with many cars, and that F40 was one of the cars that it just blew me away. But we're going to get to a quick break. We'll be right back after this. That was Client Liaison with Wildlife. Good Aussie group there. They just had their fashion line released on Friday, I think it was.
It was like an 80s inspired,
90s inspired clothing. Yeah, so it was really cool. All pastel. They rocked up in their white. Their Off-White Limousine, which is one of their songs in their album, which is really funny. They bought, as I said last week, they bought that limousine to like fund their tour. Really, they're car guys as well, which is really, really cool to see. Like they got a twin turbo Sora, as I was saying last week. But get on Client Liaison, good Aussie group, really doing things. And I'm going to play another song from later. They've teamed up with Tina Arena, which is
cool.
a really cool collab. So I'll probably be playing that soon. But yeah, back on Dutton Garage, really cool. Just the cars they had there, and if you're never going to be able to see these exotic cars, you can actually go to this place and just be in awe and just say, look, I've actually been next to a 911 GT3 RS, or 550 Maranello. Cars like that you don't get to see every day, and as your everyday punter, like, let's be honest, can't afford them because like they've got your Bentley $1 million cars there, but just to see some of these cars in that area, which were just stunning, just really cool. I've got a text. Client liaison magic. Love the great tune. Love the tune. Great group. Nice, Matty. I don't know who that's from, but thanks for that. Send us a text of who.
It's probably from client liaison.
It's probably from client liaison. So send us a text on who that was. I'm glad you enjoyed that track. It's one of my favorite ones off that album as well. But yeah, they had just some great cars. They also had a car that Jeremy Clarkson had, which was a CLK 50, no, CLK 60. Oh, jeez, I've got a mental blank now. 63, and it was Jeremy Clarkson's like one. He actually
he's the Mercedes guy, yeah.
He's the Mercedes guy.
Hammond's the 911 guy.
Yep.
And Clarkson hates the 911
with a passion because it's trying to kill you. And I think May's like the Fiat Panda guy and Rolls Royce Corniche. But
the Dacia Sandero.
The Dacia Sandero guy. I love the Dacia Sandero. A really cool track. Car, really cool track. Car. But yeah, I miss the old Top Gear. It is great. But they're coming back.
Their new show's coming out soon, I think.
The 18th of this month.
Oh, that's soon.
It's super soon. It's coming out on Amazon.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, which is I might have to
subscribe
and get it because they always do funny stuff. And I like the new Top Gear that came out. I think Chris Harris is fantastic. He's a great automotive journalist. I've seen him on. He works for the Drive Network and a few other places as well. He does a lot of work with Matt Farah, who I've mentioned a few times on this show. He's really good. One, he can drive, and two, his opinions aren't biased.
Okay.
And he really explains everything in a technological term, in a driving term, and in a passion term.
Yep.
So he's a real genuine back to basics car guy. And he's got videos on YouTube of just his fantastic reviews. If you've only seen him on Top Gear, really you haven't really been opened up to Chris Harris. Really watch Chris Harris's stuff on YouTube and for the Drive Network.
Because I stopped watching after the other guys left, so maybe I'll check him out.
Yeah, Chris Harris is fantastic. He blew me away like some of his videos. It's the same as Matt Farah. Matt Farah is like a big American guy. Really cool guy. He's into all sorts of cars. Like he's had DeLoreans. He's got an Aston. He's got a Vanquish that he put a manual in because the float pedals are hopeless. And he's got an old Mustang and a Focus RS and a whole bunch of stuff. So if you want to watch the stuff that's not mainstream, watch those guys on the Smoking Tire. He's got a podcast as well, which we're on the same station of. But yeah. Back on Hammer, May and Clarkson, their new show looks really cool, and they're actually going to different places. And
what's it? Is it following this similar formula to Top Gear, or?
I'd say it is. I don't know yet because I haven't seen. No one has seen the show, but apparently it's very similar. So like they're the same sort of banter, same sort of jokes and destroying cars, but obviously with Amazon's budget they can really go nuts. Yeah. So. But what's really cool is that they're actually presenting the show in all different parts of the area. That's why it's called the Grand Tour, because they're going all around different parts and presenting the show. So which is really really cool.
It'll be like a traveling Top Gear.
It is, yeah. But some of the you're gonna laugh at this from Top Gear. If they say the news, you know how they always present in the news, they can be sued. If they say there's a whole range of things that was pretty much the BBC owns that they can't say. So if they slip up, they're already in big trouble. But
Amazon will be on top of that. They'll know what they're doing.
Yeah, well, they have to
unless Clarkson decides to go rogue
and punch a producer because he was hungry. But look, towards the end of Top Gear, like of their stuff, they got a bit out of hand. It wasn't as good as like the original seasons.
Yeah.
But having said that, they're still kind of they're still classic. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they're going to do on the Grand Tour, because the Grand Tour is like a whole new concept and really just that different notion. So really looking forward to it. It's coming out in like 3 days, I think. So I think it's going to get a big following, considering Top Gear really lost a lot of followers.
Yeah, I stopped watching. I mean, as not a great car guy, not very knowledgeable, Top Gear was the only car show I watched. So, their new series is going to attract a lot of people, I think.
It'll be well worth to watch it. So I know I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it one way or another. I'm going to have to subscribe, I think, because they're going to be pretty stringent, I'd say, because it's such a big time show to get it on other means. But let's not go into that. But so back on again, Dutton. They had this car there, and it wasn't his exact one, but it's the same car, just in Australia. And it's stunning. It's fantastic. I didn't realize it had bucket seats. It's the little things you don't realize until you actually see the car. So I recommend people go to Dutton Garage and just have a look and get a coffee and enjoy stuff. Make it a day out. I went on a really nice day, and they had cars on all outside on the street. And if you can't afford those cars, you got next door. You got Mercedes, so you can probably go a little bit cheaper. So, but yeah, really cool concept and really cool stuff. They're kind of like the last thing for us car guys here in especially in Melbourne, considering Garage Cafe closed.
Yeah,
and you even like Garage Cafe when I took you those few times. What Garage Cafe was a really cool concept. You could actually drive your car into it's like a factory space, and it's like places to park your car inside the facility. And on the opposite side there was like a cafe with with food, great food.
You can basically drive inside the restaurant, if to put it.
Yeah.
Simply.
And it was a car guy hub. Tons of car clubs went there and everything. It was really, really cool. And it's really, really sad to see it go, because my uni took it away.
Was it?
Melbourne Uni, yeah. I think they're putting student housing and stuff there, which is really sad, because it was a hub for us car guys.
Yeah.
I used to go there pretty much weekly. I used to go there on my uni breaks to get the good old chicken Hokkien noodles and Thai green curry. Which is great. Big ups to them. But so. Because that's gone. If you really want to have like a coffee in a car sort of silly scene, Dutton Garage has got that covered.
It's really good that they let people in to walk around, especially with such precious cars.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to see.
It is. Usually at places like that, you'd be turned away for like.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you 50 feet near them, and they'd be behind,
glass. Which is really confronting, because like that's where you normally see these cars.
Yeah,
like if you got a Motor Classic car and stuff, and they're all like taped around.
That's the other thing. It's like it's one thing to see them on a computer screen. It's one thing to see them behind glass, and it's another thing to actually be able to go up to them and walk around
like
them.
a centimeter away.
Yeah,
and just walk around and just see them from all aspects as well, which is. It's crazy. I'll have to take you there, James. And
I think I've been there once a long time ago, but I have to go again.
They're a very, very old. It's an old family-run business as well. Like, they've been around for like 60 something years, I think. So like they started off as like a Citroen dealership or something. But what they are now is they're really, really, really cool, and it's just the being able to facilitate for everyone and. It was good to see they were letting kids with cameras, and it was a really nice atmosphere. Yeah. And you didn't feel scared to walk in and have a chat. So they really made you feel really, really warm, and that's what made it a really good place to go to. And that's what's good for us car guys as well, because we don't really have that anymore, especially with all the latest Hoon laws and
there's no. You know how obviously Ford and Holden aren't manufacturing here anymore.
Yep.
And you said they were making one more Typhoon or something that was only going to be in a museum.
Oh, the final one.
Yeah, the final one was it. Where do they display that? Is there actually a Ford museum?
Well, believe it or not, there used to be a Ford Heritage Centre.
Yeah.
A Ford museum in Geelong. And that got shut down.
Of course.
Everything gets shut down. Everything for us car guys gets shut down. But apparently there's like an automotive heritage center, which all those old Fords are at now. So I'm still going to look more into it because I really want to go.
Hopefully it's open to public, yeah.
It should be open to the public. I wouldn't see why it wouldn't be, because the last one, the thing was, the last one was really, really successful. Hoon Laws, yeah. ACA and, you know. I'm not going to get in too much into that, but the thing is, like, having a sanctuary, like, my point is about Dutton Garage, having a sanctuary like that is a really good break from getting harassed and getting for example, every car meet you go to, a cop will show up and be like,
you're not going to see a Ferrari at a car meet anyway. So,
well, believe it or not, there was one JDM meet I went to, and it was on a multi-story level car park. It was the craziest meet. It was like, you know, Tokyo Drift.
Yeah,
it was like that. Like it was like up
level.
Every level was packed top to bottom.
Far out.
And they had a DJ in the middle thing, so he was like pumping tunes. You could hear it. It was crazy. It was insane. Tokyo Drift. Donkey Kong. But they had Ferraris and stuff there as well, which was that was like the only meet I've actually seen a Ferrari at. But I think that was because I had over 400 or 500 cars. This meet was insane. Then the cops came and it got shut down. Because the cops came on a Sunday afternoon and be like, why is there a car meet here? And why is there traffic on King Street? And why? Basically, they believe it or not, they called the riot police. They had like riot vans rocking up, and it was just for a bunch of car guys, you know.
That's why I was worried about the Ford Museum. I'm like, you know, it's like you're inside a building, a stuffy old building, looking at a car behind glass, and all the cops rush in. Get down on the ground.
You like cars?
Stop appreciating mechanics.
Stop liking engines. Jeez, but you know. From that to seeing Dutton Garage, yes, you know, it's they're multi-million-dollar cars, and yes, you know, you're never going to be able to afford it, but the culture's still alive, and it was good to really see that car culture was alive and well in that little sanctuary, because you don't really see it many more places, because like all the JDMS team meets got shut down. They're just like, no, this is just getting ridiculous. Every time we do something, there's defect stations like a meter away, and the good thing about it, like. What the car clubs do, they notify the police. They're like, we're having a car meet here. You know, if you want to say, okay, watch out for hooning and hooning behaviour, by all means, but don't defect us. Let us enjoy our meet.
Exactly, especially when it's officially set up. You know, and they take all the precautions and all the steps, and then they still get shut down. That's not fair. Exactly
right. And you know, there was meant to be a big old school Japan meet.
You told me about this.
So I'll tell you about this story, and I think I mentioned it on the thing once. And they've been running it at Adelaide for the last 10 years. Not a problem. They wanted to organise a big one because Victorians would be like, yeah, we got tons of old school Jap cars. We'd love to love to show them. And frankly, to do it was just an impossibility because. One, the police wouldn't allow it. They said, "Oh, you can do it, but we will defect you as soon as you leave." And two, for the donation, because the money was going to be given to the money they raised. It was all for charity, right? Because the car clubs do a lot for charities, and people don't really respect that. I'm not going to name the hospital that the donation was going to, but they said, "Oh, well, we want, I think it was 75 or 50% of the profits that you're getting." So
just be happy that you're getting
something. Yeah. So and then they did the maths, and because instead of having 100 cars, which was what the place was sanctioned for, to even make even budget, like for them just to not make any money to recoup their budget, they would have had to have like almost 400 cars there.
Jeez. They're
like, we can't fit this in, so it basically all got cancelled. So the community's not really doing a lot to help us car guys. Okay, yes, there are the idiots that are on the road, and yes, I I understand your anger of they're kicking out sideways and going to skids and stuff. I completely agree. Take their cars away from them, but to the good enthusiasts, don't let one or two idiots spoil it for the rest of us, because this is what happens, and we're losing a good culture in Australia.
Yeah, especially, it's part of Australian culture and history.
It is because with our big car heritage here, obviously the big three, Toyota, Ford, and Holden, and going back Chrysler. It's really dying. And I was watching from Forza. It was one of, I think it was Forza 4. And they said to us, Jeremy Clarkson did the intro for it as soon as you start the game, and he's like, he basically said, we're a dying breed, and it's sad, but we're a dying breed. So we have to really, 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 be observant of that and try as best as we can to basically keep car culture here going, because very shortly it's going to go, and we're going to be like, we didn't do anything about it.
And I mean, if we don't, it's like preservation of history and study of history. If you forget about it or you ignore it, then at a point where, it's going to be too hard to go back and look at all the history. So it's good that Dutton Garage has it's like a snapshot of all those cars in one place at one time. Because otherwise it might get to a point where people will be like, oh, I guess with the internet it's easier because you can just look things up. Yeah. But, actual preserve them as they are, It
was stunning. And having cars from all different ages there. And they had some Gullwings, Mercedes, and it was fantastic. It was I really no matter what cars you're into, it's a mind-blowing experience. You have to go to Dutton Garage. And the good thing about them is that because they're constantly changing their cars over, there's always different stuff there. They even had some old V8 supercars there, which was really cool. Like Bathurst winning cars as well, which is really, really cool. So just to see that was outstanding and really, 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 I really respected it. Luka's about to walk in the studio right now, so we'll give a big CarTorque welcome to Luka. How you going, Luke?
What's going on?
Not much, mate. Good to have you in.
What's going on, boys? James?
How you going?
So were you listening on the way in?
Listening on the way.
What were your thoughts about Dutton Garage?
It's good.
It's good, yeah. You haven't been there yet, have you?
Nah, not yet, but I've heard good things about it.
Well, we'll have to all go down there and do like a CarTorque special.
That would be a good idea.
Just have a recording of us looking at the cars there, because there's tons of stuff there. We're going to go to a quick break. You're back on CarTorque. This is 98.9 Northwest FM. The time is now 23 to 8. So it's still just under half the show to go. I was going to bring up with you guys classic car motoring, because one of my friends Adam, who's a good friend of the show, has bought an old Charger, and I went and saw it yesterday, and he had to get a few things done, so I went for a drive with him to our local mechanic, and you forget how simple cars were.
Yeah.
The best feature his car's got is a self-cancelling indicator stalk and an AM radio. So he won't be hearing this in the old Charger.
No FM.
No FM. No, it doesn't even have a cassette player. It doesn't even have an A-track. It's got nothing. It's just just an AM.
You have to put a JVC in.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's exactly right. That's what we're talking about.
The best way to do it is just put it in the boot and put the receiver so it still looks stock.
Stock or in the glove box.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about yesterday. Actually, I'm like, dude, how are you going to go on long drives with this? And he's like, I need my music. He's like, this is going to drive me insane. Because we turned it on yesterday and the cricket was on. He's like, I can't get any other station. But classic car motoring is always fun, because it's always something new and intriguing about classic car motoring. Examples like when he started the car yesterday, it didn't have an automatic choke, so he's sitting there holding, warming it up until it reached temp, and otherwise it would stall.
It's like when you say to your parents, like, "What did you guys do before the internet?" It's like, "What did you guys do before cars worked on their own?"
Exactly right.
And you didn't have to crank them up and
spin them over with the or a Model T or something. But it's just interesting to see a car from a different time. Like I've got family friends that got like old Mustangs and stuff, but they've got like all, and it's an older car. But, just to actually go for a drive in it, it didn't drive too old actually. It drove really nice. Had plenty of power with a 265 in it, but it was just, it's a different world, and you have to respect that this is what technology was back then. So
that was good for back then.
It was very good for back then. It had an LSD and a 4 on the floor, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and a heater and a demister. Had a demister.
Oh, no way.
So that's technologically
no aircon.
No aircon. No. Mate, it does, Luke. What are you talking about? Run down the windows.
Behind the windows.
Behind the windows.
Manual aircon.
Manual aircon, and it doesn't even have a fan. So very back to basics motoring, but that's the charm of classic car motoring. But also another part of the charm is keeping him running. So he had to take it to the mechanic for just a few reasons here and there, just to obviously to tidy up and a couple. It's got an electronic MSD ignition in it, so the tachometer doesn't work anymore because that runs off the old distributor. So with the new electronic one, he has to get all wired in. So the auto Alex, they're going to get that done. It's like all these preventative measures to make one thing work. So you do, like, for example, with that, to make that work, you got to set up the limiter, you got to set up this, got to set up that. So 1 step back for 10 steps forward.
Yeah.
And it's just like the way I see classic car motoring is like you're always kind of nursing a car along, and you're keeping it alive just by, like, on the shape of a feather, basically. So that is the charm of classic car motoring, and and obviously when modern cars these days get to that stage, they're gonna pretty much be not as being as bad as I say.
Well, I mean, cars now have a higher turnaround, so I don't think you'd see someone with a car that came out this year in 10 years.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Whereas, cars from the 60s and 70s, people still...
Well, back then they were so simple that they were kind of built to last.
That's the other thing, yeah.
But whereas cars these days, like, you got to really respect it. The cars these days...
There's more that can go wrong on new cars too.
Yeah, exactly right. And cars these days, they're made to crash. They're designed
to take a crash.
Yeah, they're designed to crumple. So, like, for example, if you have an accident like that Charger, for example, or like an old Mustang or a Falcon, or Commodore,
the death trap.
You hear that, oh mate, they're made of proper steel and you won't die in one of these. You will die 10 times worse in one of those than you will in a modern car, because modern cars are made to crumple around you and keep the occupant safe.
That's why they look ugly sometimes, because they're designed for safety, which I guess is a good thing.
Which in that aspect it is. But, pretty much the only safety aspects in that were, like, front disc brakes and the rear still had drums. Yeah, but you got to understand that this is a car from a different time, and and it's amazing to see how far cars have come in 40 years. Because
what year is it?
74, so it's a VJ. Okay. It's a VJ Charger, and he's got other parts to put on. He's got, like, the triple Weber carbs and all that to put on it as well, which will really wake it up. It's already pretty quick car as it is, but it's got, like, a lumpy cam, and when it's idling, it's like shaking from side to side. So it's got a lot of charm, and old cars have a lot of charm. Could I daily one of those? No. But could I, as I enjoy it as a cruiser? Definitely, yeah. And that's definitely the charm with classic car motoring. Same with Luka with 4-wheel driving. Like, you've got a proper 4B, and you when you take a bush, you go proper.
Proper.
So like those cars, today they're kind of built for.
You couldn't take a new 4-wheel drive out to the bush now and go what I go through.
Definitely not. You'd be too scared to scratch the paint. Legit you would. And all the tech. Like, look, it's great to have a lot of tech, but in a 4-wheel drive, you really want
things break a lot easier now.
Yeah, you really want back to basics motoring. So you want, like, you want kind of live axles front and rear and stuff like that to make it really bulletproof and durable. So that really kind of really reawoke my charm for classic car motoring the other day, because it is a car from a different time. And I'm like to him, we should just take it for a run down the spur, and like keep up with me.
He's go off the cliff.
He's always like, God, it'd be scary. he's like, I wouldn't do it. But it is cool to see a car from a different time. But I'd say from the last 20 years in the automotive industry, the cars are really kind of plateaued, so per se, because Japanese have had tech in their cars from the 90s that have just been catching up on now, So it's just coming together and really making it all reliable is really quite cool and interesting. But I think it's quiz time, Luke.
Let's do it.
So you are the quiz leader. You've got 8 out of 10 so far. How does it feel to be hunted by everyone else?
Well, I know no one's going to catch me, so
the cockiness is coming out. The cockiness is coming out. But this is going to be a bit of a harder one tonight, because you are pretty much the reigning champion. So I will get.
I'm just going to go ahead and say before we start, it's rigged, like Donald Trump. You've rigged me here.
What if you get higher than you did last time?
Oh, it wasn't rigged then.
So we're going to see how you go, because I know Anthony was pissed. I know Grasser was pissed. You've pissed off a lot of people getting the score you did.
I'm just a guru.
Just a guru, he says. All right, so it's quiz time. This is the car quiz. if I click the right mouse to turn it on. All right. Question 1. The Lexus LFA was originally planned to be made out of what material?
Carbon fibre?
No. I'll give you one more chance. You're the defending champion.
Aluminium.
It was meant to be made out of aluminium, yep. And then they changed it to carbon fibre.
It is carbon fibre now, yeah.
Name the 4 steps of the 4-stroke combustion process of an engine.
Up, down. Well, you're talking about including piston.
No, like the 4 steps. I'll give you a quarter of a mark for each one.
Up.
No. Give up.
Yeah, we'll give up on that one.
It's a bit X-rated. Suck, squeeze, bang, blow.
Oh, fuck.
That's what it's called. Question 3. The Ford... I've just given away the answer. The Escort RS Cosworth...
It is rigged. You're right.
The answer's Ford.
No. Well, you didn't pick it up. The Escort RS Cosworth's chassis was based on what Cosworth vehicle beforehand? I just mentioned it, but I'm glad you didn't hear it.
Can I please repeat the question?
No.
No, repeat.
Yeah. The Ford Escort RS Cosworth's chassis was based on what Cosworth vehicle? And you bought me one of these as a gift once.
No. Ford RS Cosworth chassis was based on what? The Ford... No, I can't really say RS Cosworth.
Well, it was an RS Cosworth, but it was the specific model. From the 80s. You bought me what you...
That's your favourite one, isn't it?
It is one of my favourite cars, yeah.
Oh, far out. No.
It won Bathurst, did not? You want to pass?
I'll pass.
And we'll come back to that one. Because I know you know what it is, so I'll give you the chance to get that one. Question 4. The car that replaced the Escort in Australia was the Ford what? The car that replaced the Ford Escort in Australia...
Laser?
It was the Laser, that's correct. Question 5. Holden calls its wagon design the what? It's a Commodore wagon.
Yeah.
It's got a specific name.
Designer. What was the first bit?
Holden calls its wagon...
Yes.
Its Commodore wagon a specific type of name.
Sportswagen.
Sportswagen, that's correct. James probably wouldn't know. Your dad's got one.
No, he got the
Octavia.
Yeah, the Octavia now.
Question 6. The TRD Orion had what type of engine?
Toyota Orion. V6 3.8.
It's a V6. I'll give you
0.5.
It is a 3.5. I'll give you that. It's a supercharged one. Question 8. Oh, sorry. Question 7. True or false? The Orion was only available in an automatic.
It was only available in automatic.
It was.
Yeah.
That's correct. So it'd be true. Question 8. The Mitsubishi Evo had an automatic specific model during the 7 Series. What was it called?
I wouldn't have on this one. You have to.
No, it was called the GTA.
GTA Grand Theft
Auto. Question 9. The Chrysler SRT8 300
Yeah.
has what size engine?
5.4?
No.
5.
It's not. You got it wrong.
Oh, wait. So it's V8.
Here's a V8.
No. Is it 6?
It is something 6.
6 point...
I'm going to take one more answer. You better give me 2.
6.2?
Nah, 6.4.
Oh, 6.4. I knew there was a 4.
Question 10. The Series 2 in them come with how many gears in its transmission?
8.
Yeah, that's correct. It does come with an 8-speed. Did you remember the answer for the last question that you skipped? The Ford Escort RS Cosworth chassis was based on what Cosworth vehicle?
I know it was... I know
it.
Yeah. Shit.
give you 10 seconds. 10,
Oh,
9, 8,
Tool
7,
drive.
6, 5, 4,
Chord.
3,
That.
2, 1. It was the Sierra.
Sierra.
Luka.
6.
You got 7.
7.
You would have got the Sierra, you would
That's
have
still
equal your
pretty
score.
good.
Yeah, it was still pretty good. So 7 out of 10. Not bad. You still keep your top score, though. You still keep your top score. We're going to get to our final song of the night. So that was the car quiz. Back on CarTorque with Matty J. Still in the studio with Luke and James. Well, look, the big topic of the year is obviously, or big topic of now is the election, Donald Trump. Now, we just spoke to Stratos, and Stratos is putting on $1.05 odds for him to be out in 2 years. So we don't talk about politics on this show, and I don't like to talk about politics on the show, but this is kind of like a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. It's also, people are saying, oh, stupid Americans, who cares? But it's also a time for us to look at our political system here.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the last 2 elections we had in Australia didn't have great outcomes either. So, it's not just about them, it's about the whole world.
It is, and like we like to have a good laugh on this show, but at the end of the day, if something happens, you just don't know. So it's going to be interesting times, but as we said, Stratos has got some odds on, so he said he'd be paying out.
It'll be interesting to hear what he has to say afterwards.
after we start. But keep your texts coming in. The number is 044 7777 989 044 7777 989. Let us know what your thoughts are on these places. Let us know if you've been to Dutton Garage. We've still got a couple minutes till Stratos comes on. But yeah, so I think, are we still on? Yeah.
Yeah, we're on.
Sorry, that's something.
Stratos just switched the...
Okay, yes, cool. So something's happened to the mic, but we are pretty much out of time for tonight anyway. So thanks again for coming in, guys.
That's all good.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
No stress at all. So stay tuned because Stratos Street Hustle coming up right in a couple of minutes. But on a Monday night we've got obviously Dr. Rock with For Your Pleasure, and on a Thursday night Dr. Rock again with his good mate Fitzy for the Thursday Waffle, which is always a good laugh. They say the best knock jokes you've ever heard. Well, they like to think so anyway. So. But that's us for tonight. So thanks again, and tune in next week. And obviously thanks to all our listeners, and like our Facebook page, CarTorque with Matty J, TORQUE, and obviously thanks to our listeners overseas, because we've got listeners overseas. So keep listening in.
Worldwide.
We're worldwide, as DJ Khaled says. We're global now. We're global. But thanks for that. So we'll see you next week. Take it easy.